welcome to Conversations with Karen and Kat. I'm Karen Scott Green.
And I'm Kat Hardrick.
And we are here today with Carla Morrison of Chit Chat Communications and Sisters of Today and Tomorrow.
Yes. Welcome.
Welcome, Carla.
Thank
First
you.
off, full disclosure, Carla is a soror.
Hi.
Member of the illustrious Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
Yes.
Go ahead and put that out there. So, Carla, when we were thinking of this show, one of the first persons who I thought about having on was yourself. I knew it took a while for me to get to you because we were trying to get some other people out the way, but you were one of the people that I wanted to profile because of the work that you're doing in the community. Yes. I don't get a chance to talk to you, but I follow you on social media and I see all the work that you're doing. And I know that with Chit Chat Communications, you have been in these streets for some time, doing your PR work, doing your media relations. So tell us about Chit Chat Communications and all of the wonderful stuff that you're doing.
So Chit Chat Communications, that is my boutique public relations firm. And we've been in existence actually for 30 years this year, 2023. And
wow.
We have definitely been in these streets for a very long time, connecting with any and everybody on all levels, from Congressman John Lewis when he was alive to, the teacher at a public high school. We have connected on all levels and done PR for all kinds of people. Back in the day, one of my big clients was Cornelius Bennett, who was a Atlanta Falcon player. And before that, he was a Buffalo Bills player. And that wasn't my first client, but that was my big name client that kind of set it off for me here in Atlanta. And after that, I was able to really connect with different media people and just different entertainers, athletes, all kinds of different organizations. So his connection to doing his PR helped me to leverage a lot of the connections that I now have 30 years later, or really for him, I got him like in 96. But I had started my business in 93 in New Haven, Connecticut.
And so you now go between Atlanta and New Haven. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wow. So wait, so you travel to Connecticut as well?
I do. Yeah, I mean, that's where I'm from. I am born and bred New Haven, Connecticut. I rep New Haven all day, every day, right down here in the South. And Atlanta not gonna claim you. They'll let you know you're not a peachy. They're gonna let you know. And I'm like, well, that's okay. I'm a Yankee and I'm okay with that.
I get that too, because I'm from Detroit, girl. And they're like, oh, you not from, even though I've been here 20 years, it's like you still not from here, right? If you weren't born at Grady, that's a wrap.
Yeah.
Whatever. Whatever. Yeah. So because I know that when I see you on social media, you're in Connecticut all the time. So you have clients in both spaces.
I do. I have clients in both spaces and I have family there too. So, it's like I'm going home to my family, to my clients, to my little girls, because I do things in the community. So what I do in Atlanta, I also do in Connecticut. I'm like, Atlanta can't get all this goodness and I'm not sharing with the community that raised me. Come on.
Well, what are some of the services that you actually provide specifically when you're in both regions?
So with my public relations, I provide public relations services, setting up interviews, writing press releases and bios, creating public relations, marketing, and social media campaigns, as well as implementing them, promoting people, places, and things. So different brands, I can promote different brands, festivals, authors, restaurants, anything that you have, I can actually promote it and get you some type of PR or exposure for it. So that's the services I provide on that in. But I also have an organization called Sisters of Today and Tomorrow. That's a programmatic mentoring organization. And so we work with young girls, helping to develop their self-esteem, health and wellness, exposing them to higher education and careers and entrepreneurship. And so with that, I have different programs under that. Anything from our sister circle to our leadership conference, to our symposium after the party, what's the plan? And so programs that I do when I'm home in New Haven, I usually do one of those programs.
What are the ages of the young ladies you serve?
11 to 18.
Oh, wow.
I always tell them, once you're a part of Sisters of Today and Tomorrow, you're always a part. So even after, they turn 18 and go on to college or whatever they may want to do with the rest of their life, they're still a part. So if we can still help them in any way, mentor them, guide them, make a connection for them, we do. And like,
I don't know why people think 18 is grown. Like, you still need help, right? So that's good that they're forever a part of your organization. They'll have that support for their life.
Yeah.
And maybe they come back too to serve.
Yeah, and that is what has happened. Quite a few of my girls have come back and they've spoken. I've had them organize programs. So they've been involved. And one of my little girls, she's not my little girl anymore, but she's always going to be my baby, Dallas. She finally got the opportunity to come back and talk with the girls, and she had been waiting forever to do it. And then it was like she finally was of age and then was available, because when she became of age, she was in school in Alabama and she just wasn't home and always had different things going on. But finally it was like, okay, you're home and you can be there. And she was all involved and I just loved it. So
I love it.
I know, right?
So it's SOT in Atlanta and in Connecticut?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So how many young ladies do you work with at a time in both spaces?
About between 20 and 25.
That's a good number.
That is.
That's a very good number. How long is the actual program, like your curriculum that you have for the young ladies?
So we do something monthly, and then usually in July we have our leadership conference.
Okay.
But we have not had the leadership conference since COVID. And we're not going to do it this year either. But however, probably in 2024, we will have the leadership conference again, which is our big conference where we get girls, whoever we've been working with, be it in New Haven or in Atlanta, they all come together. And we have different activities. Every activity that we've done throughout the year, we kind of, do it all within like a 3-day span.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay. That sounds really good. Yeah. So you teach the young ladies about health and wellness. You said finance. So are these different components that's once a month that you provide? And how long is it? Is it a year thing or ongoing?
It's an ongoing thing. And yes, so we partner with different organizations, like Operation Hope actually teaches our financial literacy. So anytime we're doing something with financial literacy, we have Operation Hope to come in and help with that. When we're doing stuff with self-esteem building, we usually have a therapist come in and work with that. Like Jennifer Lester is one of our therapists. We've have a number of them. And if Jennifer is not available, she might refer one of her coworkers or something like that. When it comes to, like, we do vision board, we actually have women who are like a part of our mentoring, who have been a part for a very long time, who will come in, and they're usually educators. Like I keep me some educators around.
I know, right? We love our educators, don't we?
Yeah, they're the most creative people I know.
Okay, girl.
Yeah. So they may come in and do the vision board, and they always just have other stuff going on outside of being a teacher. Because when I was in school, I thought a teacher, that's all you do. You are made to teach me, and that's it. Like, you don't have no life, right? They have full lives.
I never see you in the grocery store. Right, what you doing here? Right, like they're not even real people.
Right. But they have full lives, and so they share. So we do a lot of fun things, and we taking a little break, and now we're getting ready to partner with Carver, the schools of Carver, here in Atlanta. Yeah, and there's a teacher there who was just like, "Girl, we need you over here." And I'm like, "Don't y'all got a program?" She was like, "We can have more than one program." I was like, "Okay." I just don't like to step on anybody's toes. But she was like, "No, we doing this." So we're looking forward to partnering with them come the fall, because everybody's getting prepared to get out of school. Yeah.
How did you? Because I'm love girl. Look, we always in each other's head. How are you going to be able to get in other schools? Like, dude, we need this program all over the place. Like, we've signed up to mentor in our school districts, and so we need help. So how can we help you bring your sister's organization to our school district, or at least present it to our school board, so we can have that conversation, Carla? Because we work really hard to try to save our kids. And I'd rather work hard in the room of positivity than being on the other side. And my sister, with her profession, she sees it on the other side far too often. And we need to do something to prevent that. So how can we get you in our clusters?
Right. Well, I mean, it's just a matter of, if some of the right people who can say yes, who can green light it, because it's always a process, and it's always red tape, when you're talking about getting into a school system. And so, I mean, if you can help to navigate that, we can just present it and see if they'll accept it. Now, if they don't accept it, the way around that is going through the churches that are in that community, and going through other programs that may be in that community. And that's really how I've gotten most of the kids, because going straight to any school system has truly been an issue. Like the only time, I was going to say the only time I probably didn't really have an issue going into the school system was in my hometown. And that's just because I know everybody in my hometown, and the people who are running things are, most of them I probably grew up with, or the principal at the high school, was somebody I grew up with. So it's like, okay, I know you about it. Let's make it happen, whatever you need. But down here, sometimes it's not like that. And so, I just go around and do it other ways. But now I actually have a teacher who's like, nope, we're going to make this happen. And she's very has a voice, so it's going to happen, but I've gone through, my normal routine is going through churches, going through other community organizations, going through our politicians, because they govern their district, right? So if you're trying to get somebody to vote for you, that person you're getting to vote for you probably has a child. So why don't you, get 10 of them, to come to this? And if I get 10 from every council person, we got at least 100 kids, so now we're making some headway, and then once they find out about it, and they're gonna have a good time. Most kids are resistant, but once they get there and they have a good time, it's like, oh, I want to come back, because we do so many different things. I know it sounds boring. Oh, self-esteem, health and wellness, education. But it's like, no, because I'm getting women who are talking the same talk as them. They're fly, they're smart, and they see each other. They're seeing those girls, and those girls are seeing themselves, because we do a sister circle. And when they share their stories, it's like, oh, we got a similar story. And it's a connected thing. You got to experience it. I'd love to get you all involved. Like when we do something here in Atlanta, having you all involved.
Invite us. I don't mind coming to Connecticut, girl. Look, I don't mind coming to Connecticut, girl. Do you have any conversations, or do you have any sessions with the girls on dating violence?
You know what? Not specifically on dating violence, but just making sure you love yourself enough to not allow somebody to harm you or treat you any kind of way, even verbal abuse, like we may have those conversations, but we have not had a session on that.
Gotcha.
But we always open, so if that's a session that
I just wonder, because I know that that has been a theme that I've been hearing from some other women as they're talking to young women, that's a concern, right. For young women about what they think is acceptable, and they don't even recognize it as being violent.
Right.
Like somebody talking to you out of pocket,
right.
Calling you out your name, like
right.
that's a form of dating violence. I'm calling you, making you feel less than, and all of this negative influence around them makes it normal. And then we don't know what may or may not be in the household or in their near nucleus of everyday activity. And then also having someone else work on boys to let young men know what's appropriate and not appropriate, because we have to come at it at all fronts. Right, because I have sons and daughters. So I'm educating on both ends. But we definitely need to be telling our sons, you don't put your hand on women. That's right. We definitely need to tell young ladies not to do this. Everybody needs to do the same thing. Nobody hits anyone. No one talks to anyone like that. So I think that would really be great to do that, because like we always push in conflict resolution, and maybe that's a course, if you don't already have, to consider, because when we do get angry, we don't talk about how our kids need to address and learn how to de-escalate. Yes. Right. It's okay to get mad. We do get mad. It's how you handle your anger. Right. That's the issue.
That's true.
And but I know you've been doing this work for some time, because Sisters of Today and Tomorrow, you started in 2008, is it?
Yeah, in 2008.
Oh, yeah. So you that was in a recession. Yeah. What we did? You did that, huh?
And it was so funny when I started this. I had met this guy who used to get sponsorship and stuff. He used to do a lot of parties and would get sponsors and stuff. And I was like, how do you get that? How do you do that? And then he was like, man, I can't believe you started. So he said, you started this at a bad time. I was like, did I? But it was like everything that I've ever done, I do it, because I have an interest in it. It's out of passion. Something that I think, will be a good thing to do. And then I've always utilized my network. And so, I did start it in a recession. We've gone through not really generating that much funding, but we've been able to continue because of the connections that I've made through doing the public relations, right? So being in PR since 93, coming to Atlanta in 95, connecting with different people on different levels, and then turning around and saying, hey, I want to do something in the community, and coming up with this. I always used my connections to make it happen, to be my speakers, to get the facility, to get the food. So it was like, we didn't really need money. We need money to pay me.
Right. Right.
Yeah, because that's important. Because I'm putting my all into it, and this is like a daily thing that I'm doing. And then we needed money, if you want to, give a gift to your speaker and stuff like that. But I had been able to do so much by just being connected to different people, because I'm a networker and I always have been.
Are. You sure are. So Carla and I lived together briefly in about 95, 96, thereabout. And I remember you putting your little packets together for your prospective clients on Chit Chat Communications. You had the folders, your stuff for your little press kit. I used to call it press kit. Right. She was going out to events because you were meeting you were meeting some of the people who were hot in Atlanta at the time.
Jermaine Dupri.
Going out to industry parties, and she was out there getting it in. She was. I remember.
And I was on Martyr too.
I remember that minute, girl. You was catching the bus. I ain't mad at you, girl. On the train. You have been a hustle woman. Yes. So when I see you on social media going back, jet setting between Connecticut and Atlanta, I'm like, look at her doing her thing.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
But you know what? That is why you're so successful. It's coming from your heart, and you said it. You're doing it because it's something that you wanted to do, that you've been driven to, and that's really important. And I think that that's why God continues to bless you, because we need this. We need somebody who wants to help our girls. And then, of course, with Chit Chat Communications, a lot of people think they got it going on, but I'm sure you come in there and say, this is how we need to do it.
Yes.
Yeah. So let me ask you about that. So with Chit Chat Communications, because I want to talk about the Sisters program a lot too, but what advice do you give to young people who are starting to try to come up with their business? Because you see a lot of influencers like this generation, dude, you just need a camera and a light, it seems like,
right,
to get things going. So with all the years you've been doing Chit Chat Communications, what have you seen evolve and change, and what are some things we can keep and maybe some things we need to tweak or throw away?
What I saw evolving is the social media. Like that was not happening when, like, back in the day. Like I mean, all of the social media and the internet stuff, all of that evolved, because when I was starting out, all we had was, I mean, we did have a computer. What you said?
Fax machine.
Yeah, a fax machine. Yep. And we had not even I forget what it's called. It's not a regular computer, but just it's kind of like a word processor. Just stuff like that. And so, and we actually called people, and we had a Rolodex. And it was a hard Rolodex. It wasn't something in our phone. We actually had a Rolodex that we go through and stuff like that. So communications has definitely evolved, and I've evolved with the times. However, what I do is take the foundational stuff, and I still use that. How we have our target market, our base on who listens to radio, who watches television, who actually still reads print, and who's the online people. And I use that in how I handle my social media.
Okay.
Who actually looks at Facebook? Those are going to be the same people who probably watches TV.
Right.
Or when I say TV, I mean the news. Watches the news. Not everybody watches the news. They most of them get it off of social media. But there's a group of people who watch the news. Me, and older. There's a group of people who does everything on Instagram or TikTok, which would be our kids. And they don't even, I can't even say they listen to radio. Like, so I kind of like look at the different, they listen to like online radio. They do everything different than us. But for me, having the foundation of television, radio, and print, understanding that, and then who am I dealing with on social media? Everybody's on social media. I do know that. However, which group do I target when I'm using Facebook, or when I'm using TikTok, or when I'm using LinkedIn, or Twitter? It's like
Twitter is for social media for different things.
What you say?
Different groups are using social media for different things.
Yep. And so I just, I'm able to utilize it and evolve with the times. But it took me a second. When Facebook first came out, I was scared to get on it. I did not want to get on it. I was like, and then I heard this girl on the radio saying something about Facebook, and like something happened to somebody, and I was like, oh no, I don't want to have to ever do that. And then now I'm like, I can't stop. Every minute I'm looking on Facebook, I'm looking on Instagram. I just can't. It's a part of my life now.
So how many people are on your team for Chit Chat Communications?
3.
Okay. And so do you handle social media, or do you have someone on the team that handles social media for like your clients?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm a strategist, so I like to strategically, I know what I want and see, and it's like, okay, how are we going to tap into this market, this market? So I'm like strategy, but then sometimes I like to play too. Like, that's playing for me. I love playing. I love to actually, tag people and, engage people in conversation, especially if it's something worth, engaging. And sometimes I just like to be messy.
Facts. Do you teach the young ladies in your program how to market and stuff as well? I'm sure.
No, actually, I don't. Like when I'm doing my symposiums and our sister circles and stuff like that, I'm in, I guess, more so producer mode than anything. And I'm setting it up for them to be successful. So I'm putting everything in place. You told me you got an interest in fashion. Well, I'm bringing the hottest fashion designer or stylist to this event to speak to you. You know what I mean? So I'm so in organizational mode and in promotion mode to make sure that everybody knows the Sisters of Today and Tomorrow is doing this, that I don't really talk to them about marketing unless there's somebody in the group who wants to do that. And then I'm like, okay, well, you're going to help me. You're going to be my assistant. And this is what you're going to do. And so I do have, a couple of girls who have done that. One girl, I have to send y'all a link. She said, Miss Carla, I was shy. I know it doesn't seem like it now, but Miss Carla wasn't having that. And she made me plan a whole program and promote it. And I was like, I sure did.
I know, right? I love it because that teaches them leadership skills.
Yeah.
And to step into their own, because you are so valuable and God put in you what you need. We just need to have those mentors around those young minds to help it flourish and come on out. Well, that was good. Could you imagine having somebody? I mean, for me, I didn't. But to have this, what we're doing at 11.
Right.
Dude, like at 11. Could you imagine? I'm so proud of you. I'm excited, girl. Let's put up. How do people get in contact? What's the Sisters of Tomorrow Today and Tomorrow site? What's that?
Oh, it's SOT, the number 2 girls. SOT, the number 2 girls.org.
SOT, the number 2 girls.org. Got it. All right.
So SOT2girls.org.
Yeah, girls, we got to get that out there, honey.
We got that at the bottom of the screen. And so, do you need volunteers?
Donations?
Because I know you're 50. I know that Sisters of Today and Tomorrow is a 501c3.
Right.
Okay.
So, so that means that any contributions that they make are tax deductible. Right. Do you need volunteers? We always need donations, but would they be able to make those donations or sign up to volunteer at SOT number 2girls.org?
Yes, there should be a link up there, there should be a link up there. I gotta go and check.
So send everybody to the website. They can sign up to volunteer and get more information. If nothing else, they can reach out to you and make sure they sign up and learn more about the program. And then they can volunteer in both locations, Atlanta or Connecticut.
Yeah.
Girl, awesome. That is good.
And then if folks need the public relations hat, Chit Chat Carla Morrison and Chit Chat Communications, they can reach you. How can they reach you?
At chitchatcommunications.biz, biz.
All right, chitchatcommunications.biz. And a phone number?
404-319-2130.
Okay, good.
All right, so we're gonna.
So let me ask. We ask everybody, how do you manage your mental wellness? So mental health is very important to us, and we want to encourage people to remove the stigma around your mental well-being. We know people who have died, unarmed people, because they've had mental episodes, and we want to make sure we help do our part by destigmatizing that and making it a part of everyday conversation and sharing. And if you wouldn't mind sharing a piece of what your mental wellness practice is, because you are a busy woman. You've been doing this for over 30 years. You got 2 organizations. You picked the worst time to start a business, but God was on your side, honey, because you are still here doing the thing. So let everybody know.
Ain't she a hype woman?
Girl,
she is. I'm like, okay, yeah, what?
So tell us, girl, so we can share with all of our listeners and beyond. What do you do to manage your wellness?
Well, lucky for me, everybody talks about mental health and wellness. It's this new thing. That's old for me and my sister, because my mother is a psychotherapist. So all my life we've known about mental wellness, you know. So we've always known how to take care of ourselves. My mother don't play that. She gonna make sure she's straight and get her rest, or whatever, her me time, whatever. She's very clear on that. Has always been all my life. So you kind of go and do the things your mother does. So that's me. I'm getting my rest. I'm getting my me time. I Sundays, I call that self-care Sundays. I take my walks through Piedmont Park. And when it's really nice out, I just sit and, you know, let the sun hit my face, you know. I might play on my phone, or I might just read a book. Quiet time. I can turn off my phone. I don't have to have my phone on. So I do know how to turn it off. I'm not one of those people. Lately, I've been keeping it on at night, but normally I turn it off at night, like all the way off, because I'm like, what emergency can happen that I can't deal with in the morning? Like, if somebody dead, so ain't nothing I can do about it.
If it's bad news, just let it wait till the morning. Right.
So I'm very clear, and have always been clear on mental wellness. And I just in now that we have had COVID and things like that, I have been very intentional on making sure that I am just living my best life. And anytime I feel any kind of stress, I'm getting out of that situation.
Amen.
Plain and simple.
Amen.
I'm not staying around.
Protect your peace. I know that's right.
Yeah, it's important. And it's just like, you know, if nothing else, COVID taught me that you living and continuously being happy all the time, you know, is more important than anything else, honestly. Living and enjoying your life. And that's what I've been, you know, working on and trying to do. You know, mental health has always been important, and I've always been clear about, you know, self-care and things like that. But just being happy, that's something different. And I have really been very intentional. When if I'm feeling some kind of way, I'm getting out of there. I'm not sticking around for what? It doesn't
right. I know. You don't need to bring it down. Well, y'all have some beautiful smiles. Y'all look, is that a prerequisite? Absolutely. Y'all got some banging smiles, honey.
So, but I love it that you're prioritizing your mental health.
That's right.
And doing the things that make you happy, you know. And I just, I applaud you, sister. And we, Karen and Kat, would be very happy to, you know, participate in Sisters of Today and Tomorrow any way that we can. So, you know, just give me a call. You have my cell number, or if you can't find the cell number, you can reach me on in the DMs.
Right.
Yes, girl. And anything we can do, because we need to get programs like this. Even if the schools don't want it, we in the community want it. And the community has the last say. Absolutely. So we don't have any problem with elevating that all day long.
Absolutely. Carla, is there anything that you've got coming up that we didn't touch on? Because we want to make sure that the community knows about any events that you may have coming up, or anything planned.
Well, one event in particular, but it's really my client's event. You know, I'll be trying to push my client. So the Atlanta,
get it in.
What'd you say?
I said, this is the space. Get it in, honey.
Okay. So the Atlanta Caribbean Carnival is coming up, and I'm doing the PR for that. And they're doing a number of things, so it's not just the carnival at the end of the month during Memorial Weekend. They're actually doing something on May 13th. It's a Atlanta Children's Carnival right in the city of Atlanta in the Fourth Ward. It's the Fourth Ward Park. And then that's on the 13th of May. And then on the 26th of May, they're having it's like a, I don't know, some kind of party situation.
It must be something moving. You like it's a
yeah, it's gonna be I can't think of the name of
in Atlanta, like Auburn Avenue area, right?
So now this year it normally is on Peachtree in Auburn, the Caribbean Festival. This year is actually going to be in West Side Park, which is in the northwest section of Atlanta. The park is beautiful. It's a new park. It's huge, and it is a beautiful park. It's kind of like off of Bankhead, but you know, Bankhead has changed. So so the area has changed. Right. Yeah. And the park is beautiful. So that's 1600 Johnson Road, where the festival will be, and they're going to have a parade that goes down Marietta Boulevard and then turns onto I can't remember what side street, but if you're on Marietta Boulevard, you'll see the parade. That's on the 27th of May at 11:30 a.m. So it's going to be a great festival. I'm excited because I love the Caribbean, and I love how they love on me a lot. And so it's just like, you know, a fun time.
You probably get mistaken for being West Indian all the time, don't you?
What'd you say?
You get mistaken for being West Indian all the time?
Yeah, or African.
Yeah.
And sometimes I go along with it, and I'm like, yeah, I'm from Sierra Leone.
I know, right? Love on me. I know that's right.
So that's one of the big things that's happening. You know, I have a couple of clients out of Connecticut. Ramona Moore, she's launched her book, and she's having she's doing a book signing at the end of this month, and then she's going to do like a porching with Babs, another leader in our New Haven community, where they're going to just sit. It's cigars and cocktails and on Babs's porch, because Babs does this thing. Actually, they do it in the vineyard, you know, these porch parties in the vineyard. And so Babs just kind of took from that and porching with Babs, and throughout the summer in New Haven, the hot spot is Babs Ivory Rawls's porch. You go there with your crackers and cheese and your wine or whatever, and have a good time.
Real grown up.
Smart woman. So so Ramona's doing that, and we just wrapped up with Tasha Monique Carter, and behind the scenes, she did her debut Mahogany fashion show, which is a theatrical fashion show, and she lives in LA, but she just brought it back home to New Haven, Connecticut, and it's her life story, and it's beautiful. It just happened this past Saturday. And so she'll do in December. So so those are like some of my clients, you know, that I'm excited about.
Things, ma'am. Yes, I love it. Well, Carla, thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of Conversations with Karen and Kat, where we are impacting the world one conversation at a time.
Well, thank you. I appreciate you. This was really nice. It was cool.
Yeah, we here, girl. We here.